Hello there, and welcome to Quiet Wisdom. The gates of the Janus Temple are closed. The wars are over. The noise of the forum has faded into the twilight. Take a moment to settle in. Listen to the rain falling against the window. It is the same rain that fell on the 7 hills 2,000 years ago. Let your shoulders drop. Let the tension of the modern world slide off you like water off a marble column. Unclench your jaw. Tonight, we are traveling to the Eternal City. We are going to Rome. But we are not going to the Colosseum to hear the crowds. We are going to the quiet places. We are going to walk the stone roads, sit by the fountains of the aqueducts, and rest in the steam of the bathhouse. We are going to explore the weight of history, the solidity of the stone. You do not need to build the empire. The empire is already built. It is heavy. It is stable. It is holding the ground for you. And just before we begin, if these quiet journeys help you find rest, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps us keep the eternal flame burning. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1. The Wolf and the River. We are going back to the earth before the stone. We are traveling to the Italian peninsula. It is the year 753 BC. We are standing on the banks of a river, the Tiber. It is not the tamed river of today, trapped between high stone embankments. It is a wild, living thing. It winds through a valley of marshes and low hills. The water is brown and swollen with the spring rains. It moves with a heavy, muscular current toward the Tyrrhenian Sea. The landscape here is green and overgrown. Willow trees dip their branches into the water. Reeds grow 10 feet high in the shallows. It is a place of solitude. There are no marble temples yet. There are no paved roads. There are only the 7 hills, rising out of the mist like islands in a sea of green. The Palatine, the Capitoline, the Aventine. They are silent, covered in forests of oak and pine. You are standing in the mud of the riverbank. The air is humid. It smells of wet earth, rotting leaves, and wild mint. It is dawn. The sun is breaking over the Alban Hills in the east, turning the river mist into a golden haze. We are looking for the myth. In a cave at the base of the Palatine Hill, the Lupercal, there is a sound. It is not the sound of a human. It is the low, rhythmic breathing of an animal, the she-wolf. Legend says she found 2 infants here, Romulus and Remus, washed up by the river, abandoned. Imagine the scene, not as a statue in a museum, but as a physical reality. The cave is warm. It smells of animal musk and dry straw. The wolf lies on her side. She is a massive grey predator, but she is at rest. Her fur is coarse and thick. The infants are sleeping against her warmth. This is the beginning of Rome, not with a sword, but with a shelter. A cave protecting life from the cold. You feel the safety of that cave. The rain falls outside, but inside the rock, it is dry. We move forward. The infants grow. The wolf fades into the forest. The men remain. They decide to build. Romulus stands on the Palatine Hill. He looks out over the valley. He sees the potential. He picks up a tool. Not a weapon, but a plough. A bronze ploughshare hitched to a white bull and a white cow. He is going to draw the line. The pomerium. This is the sacred boundary of the city. Everything inside the line is Rome. Everything outside is the wild. He drives the plough into the earth. Crunch. The bronze blade cuts the turf. It turns the dark soil over. It smells rich and fertile. He walks in a massive circle around the hill. Step, furrow, step, furrow. The line is drawn. It is a magical barrier. Inside this line, there will be law. There will be order. There will be safety. You are standing inside the line. You watch the first walls go up. They are not the marble palaces of the future. They are humble. They are made of tufa. Tufa is the volcanic rock of Italy. It is soft when you cut it, but it hardens in the air. It is porous. It is a warm, yellowish-gray color. The workers cut square blocks of tufa from the hillside. Chisel, tap, chisel, tap. They stack them up without mortar. The stones lock together by their own weight. Gravity is the glue. The wall rises. It encircles the hill. It shuts out the wind. It shuts out the wolves. You are standing in the first street of Rome. It is just a dirt path between thatched huts. Smoke rises from the roof holes. It is quiet. The sound of the river is muffled by the new wall. You feel a sense of beginning. A seed has been planted in the earth. The heavy, wet clay of the riverbank is being transformed into structure. You walk to the edge of the hill. You look down at the valley below, the valley that will one day become the Roman Forum. Right now, it is a swamp, the Velebrum. Mist hangs over the water. Frogs are croaking. Creak, creak. But the Romans are engineers. They do not accept the swamp. They will drain it. They will build the Cloaca Maxima, the great drain. Imagine the digging, the slow, methodical removal of the mud, the laying of the stone tunnel. They are creating dry land where there was water. They are creating stability. The sun sets over the young city. The sky turns a deep imperial purple. The first stars appear over the Capitoline Hill. Jupiter, Mars, Venus. The watchfires are lit on the walls. Crackle, pop. You sit by a fire. The wood is pine. It burns with a resinous, sweet scent. You feel the warmth on your face. You think about the concept of the eternal city. Urbs Eterna. It hasn't earned that name yet. It is just a village. But the intention is there. The intention to stay, to endure. The stone blocks of the wall are heavy. They are not going anywhere. You lean back against the tufa wall. The stone absorbs your body heat. It supports your spine. You feel grounded. You are sitting on the bedrock of history. The river flows past in the darkness below. Rush. Hush. Rush. Hush. It is the sound of time. Rome was not built in a day. It was built stone by stone, breath by breath. You do not need to rush either. You are building your own rest, layer by layer. The foundation is laid. The boundary is drawn. The wild is outside. You are inside. You are safe in the den of the wolf. You are safe behind the wall of Romulus. Let the darkness of the ancient hills cover you. Rest in the beginning. Rest in the mud and the stone. Sleep. Chapter 2. The brick and the concrete. The mud huts of Romulus have dissolved into the earth. The wooden palisades have rotted and returned to the forest. The thatched roofs have burned and turned to ash. We are moving forward in time. We are leaving the village and entering the empire. The year is 27 BC. The Republic has fallen, and the age of Augustus has begun. The Pax Romana, the Roman peace. We are standing in the center of the city, but the air has changed. It no longer smells of river mud and wild mint. It smells of dust. It smells of lime. It smells of the kiln. We are here to witness the greatest invention of the Roman mind. Not a law, not a sword, not a poem, but a rock that they made themselves. Opus caementicium, Roman concrete. To understand the permanence of Rome, we must touch the ingredients. We must go to the source. We travel south, away from the city, down the coast to the Bay of Naples, to the town of Puteoli. Here, the earth is alive. Mount Vesuvius looms in the distance, a sleeping giant. The ground is warm. Steam vents hiss from the cracks in the rocks. We walk to the side of a volcanic hill. The ground is covered in a strange grayish-red dust. It is soft. It is gritty. This is pozzolana. It is volcanic ash, silica and alumina, cooked in the belly of the earth and spewed out to cover the land. To the uneducated eye, it looks like dirt, but to the Roman engineer, it is magic powder. You reach down and scoop up a handful. It is dry. It coats your fingers in a fine grey film. It smells of sulfur and deep thyme. We take this ash back to the city. We take it to the construction site. Imagine a vast building project, the future Pantheon, or a massive aqueduct arch. The workers are mixing the recipe. They take the grey pozzolana. They mix it with lime, white, caustic powder made from burning limestone. They add water, and then they add the aggregate, chunks of rock, tufa, brickbats, broken pottery. Now, watch the reaction. When the water hits the lime and the ash, it doesn't just get wet, it gets hot. It is an exothermic reaction. The pile of grey sludge begins to steam. It hisses softly. Sss. It creates its own heat. It is cooking itself. This is the miracle of liquid stone. The workers take wooden buckets. They pour the mixture into wooden forms, molds built to shape the walls. Slop, thud. It is a heavy, viscous sound. The concrete flows like thick lava. It fills the voids. It wraps around the stones. It settles. And then it begins to lock. The chemistry aligns. The liquid turns to solid. It bonds not just by drying, but by crystallizing. It becomes a monolith. Once it sets, it is harder than the stone it was made from. And it is waterproof. You can set it under water in the ocean, and it will still harden. This is why Rome still stands. We are looking at materials that do not decay. You put your hand on a finished wall of Roman concrete. It is rough. It is cool. It feels incredibly solid. It feels like it is part of the earth's crust. It does not vibrate when a cart goes by. It absorbs the shock. It anchors you. But the Romans were not satisfied with grey, rough walls. They wanted order. They wanted geometry. They covered the concrete with brick. We walk to the Figulinae, the brick fields. These are vast yards on the banks of the Tiber, where the clay is harvested. It is a place of repetition, a place of endless, calming rhythm. The clay is dug. It is wet and red. It is pressed into wooden molds, rectangles, triangles. It is set out to dry in the Italian sun. Then it goes into the kiln. The fires burn day and night. The smell of baking earth fills the air. It is a warm, dry, dusty smell, like a pottery studio, but on an industrial scale. The bricks come out, lateres. They are not the thick blocks of the modern world. They are thin. They look like tiles. They are a deep, warm orange red. We watch the masons at work. They take the concrete wall. They face it with the bricks. Trowel, mortar, brick, tap, tap. They tap the brick into place with the handle of the trowel. Layer upon layer. The wall turns red. It becomes a grid. The sound of the trowel on the brick is a sharp, musical clink, clink, scrape, clink, scrape. It is the music of the city. For centuries, Rome was a city of this red brick and grey tufa. It was earthy. It was humble. But Augustus changed that. The emperor stands on the Palatine Hill. He looks at his city. He wants it to reflect the glory of the gods. He wants it to shine. He says, "I found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble." We are going to witness this transformation. We are going to the White Mountains. We travel north to Carrara, to the Alps. Rising out of the green forests are the mountains of Luna, the Moon Mountains. They look like they are covered in snow, even in summer. But it is not snow. It is marble. White, crystalline limestone, pure, flawless. We walk into the quarry. The noise of the city is gone. Here, there is only the sound of the wind and the chisel. The light is blinding. The sun reflects off the white walls of the quarry, creating a bowl of light. The quarrymen are cutting the stone. They do not blast it with powder. That would crack the heart of the stone. They cut it with iron and sand and patience. They use a saw, a long iron blade with no teeth. They pour water and sand into the cut. The sand acts as the abrasive. Two men pull the saw back and forth. Rit. 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 It takes hours to cut an inch, days to cut a block. The rhythm is agonizingly slow. It is the slowest clock in the world. But the stone yields. A block is freed. It weighs 40 tons. They lower it down the mountain on sledges, using ropes and pulleys. The ropes creak. The wood groans. It slides down to the port. It is loaded onto a ship. It sails down the coast, up the Tiber, to the city. Now, we are back in Rome. We are in the Forum of Augustus. The brick walls are being covered. The masons take the slabs of white marble. They act as a veneer, a skin. They pin the marble to the concrete with iron clamps. They polish it. They use pumice stone and water. Rub, rub, rub. The rough stone becomes smooth. Then it becomes satin. Then it becomes glass. It feels cool to the touch. It feels like ice that never melts. We walk through the Forum. It is noon. The sun is high. The city has turned white. Columns of Carrara marble rise 50 feet into the air. They are fluted, grooved with vertical lines that draw the eye up to the capitals. The capitals are carved with acanthus leaves, delicate, curling leaves of stone. You stand in the shadow of a column. The temperature difference is shocking. In the sun, the marble is warm. In the shadow, it is cold. You lean your cheek against the polished stone. It is perfectly smooth. There is no friction. You look at the veins in the marble. Gray swirls, gold flecks. These are the fingerprints of the earth. The city feels heavy now. It feels weighted down by all this stone. But it is a good weight. It is the weight of permanence. The wooden huts of the shepherds would blow away in a storm. These temples will not blow away. They will not burn. They are here forever. You feel a sense of stability. The ground beneath your feet is paved with travertine, a porous, cream-colored limestone. You walk across the plaza. Your sandals make a sharp clack-clack sound on the stone. You stop by a fountain. The water flows into a marble basin. Splash, gurgle. The water is clear. The stone is white. The contrast is beautiful. You realize that the city is a container. It is a container for people, a container for water, a container for time. You are inside the container. The walls of the Forum rise up around you. They block out the view of the wild hills. They block out the chaos of nature. Here, everything is straight lines. Everything is geometry. The Romans loved the square and the arch. The arch never sleeps. The arch is always working, channeling the weight of the roof down into the pillars, down into the earth. You look at the arch of Titus. It stands at the top of the sacred way, massive, imposing. It is holding up the sky. You do not need to hold anything up. The architecture is doing the work for you. The sun begins to set. The white marble turns pink, then purple, then gray. The shadows lengthen across the travertine floor. The air cools down. The stone releases the heat of the day. You can feel it radiating against your legs. A gentle, dry warmth. The workers are going home. The chisels are silent. The saws are still. The concrete has set. The mortar is dry. The city is built. You find a place to rest. A stone bench in the portico of a temple. It is sheltered. A roof of cedar wood, painted with gold stars, covers you. You lie down on the bench. It is hard, but it is flat. It aligns your spine. You wrap your cloak around you. You look at the columns standing in the twilight. They look like trees made of stone, a petrified forest. They are the guardians of your sleep. They have stood there for 100 years, and they will stand there for 1,000 more. You feel the solidity of the empire. It is a heavy blanket of order laid over the world. Roads, bridges, walls, aqueducts. Everything is connected. Everything is solid. You close your eyes. You imagine the concrete curing in the dark, the chemical bonds tightening, the crystals growing, locking together, becoming stronger with time. Your body feels heavy. Your legs turn to marble, heavy and cool. Your chest turns to brick, warm and solid. Your mind turns to concrete, settled, still. There is no movement here, no swaying, no drifting, just the absolute stillness of the stone. You are a statue in the gallery of the night. The wolf is gone. The wild is gone. There is only the city, the eternal city. Rest in the stone. Rest in the weight. Sleep. Chapter 3. The aqueduct. The marble city stands white and silent in the moonlight. The forum is empty. The temples are closed. The stone has captured the heat of the day and is now slowly releasing it back into the cool night air. But a city of stone is dead without blood. A city needs a circulatory system. It needs a pulse. We are leaving the center of Rome. We are traveling east. We are leaving the noise and the dust behind, climbing up into the green wooded slopes of the Apennine Mountains, the Sabine Hills. We are looking for the source. Rome consumes water like a thirsty giant. 1 million people living in a hot Mediterranean climate. They need to drink. They need to wash. They need to flush the great drain. But the Tiber River, flowing through the city, is muddy. It is brown. It is not fit for a cup of silver. So the Romans went to the mountains. They found the springs. We are standing at the source of the Aqua Marcia. It is a natural spring, bubbling up from deep underground caverns. The water is freezing cold. It is crystal clear. It has been filtered through miles of limestone rock. You kneel down on the mossy bank. You cup your hands. You dip them into the water. It shocks your skin. It is so cold it hurts. You bring it to your lips. It tastes of nothing. It has no mud flavor, no sulfur. It tastes like melted snow. It is the taste of purity. This water needs to go to Rome. But Rome is 56 miles away. And there are no pumps. There are no engines. There is no electricity to push the water uphill. There is only gravity. We are about to witness the greatest feat of hydraulic engineering in human history. The Roman aqueduct. It is a machine made of stone, designed to harness the weight of water. The engineers, the liberatores, the levelers, had to calculate a path. They had to find a line that went down, constantly down, but never too steep. If the slope was too steep, the water would rush too fast. It would erode the stone. It would burst the pipes. If the slope was too flat, the water would stagnate. It would stop. The perfect gradient. 1 foot of drop for every 1,000 feet of length. Think about that precision. Over 50 miles of rugged terrain, valleys, hills, forests. They had to maintain a slope that is barely visible to the naked eye. A gentle, continuous slide. We follow the water as it enters the channel. The specus. Most people think of aqueducts as high bridges with arches, but 90% of the aqueduct is underground. It is a tunnel. You are walking inside the channel now. It is a rectangular tunnel, lined with stone and waterproof cement, opus signinum, made of crushed tile and lime. It is about 6 feet high. You can stand up in it. The water flows beside you. It is a dark, smooth ribbon. It makes a sound, a low, constant gurgle. Murmur. Hush. Murmur. Hush. It echoes off the stone walls. It is the sound of a subterranean river. The air in the tunnel is cool and damp. It smells of wet limestone and darkness. Every few hundred yards, there is a shaft going up to the surface. A puteous. It lets in air. It lets in a single beam of sunlight that dances on the black water. We walk along the maintenance path. We see the evidence of time on the walls. The water of the Aqua Marcia is hard. It is full of calcium carbonate. Over the years, the minerals precipitate out of the water. They stick to the walls. They form a crust. Sinter. It looks like rock icing. Layers of white and beige crystals building up on the sides of the tunnel. If left alone, the sinter would choke the tunnel. It would close the throat of the aqueduct. So the workers come. The aquari, the watermen. They walk through the darkness with chisels and lamps. They scrape the walls. Scrape, chip, scrape, chip. They clear the arteries of the empire. We walk for miles underground. The temperature never changes. The flow never changes. It is a place of absolute consistency. The water you see flowing past your feet right now will be in a cup in the Roman Forum tomorrow morning. It is a conveyor belt of liquid. But now, the ground drops away. The tunnel reaches the edge of a valley. To keep the gradient, to keep that perfect, gentle slope, the water cannot go down into the valley floor. It must stay high. It must fly. We step out of the tunnel. We are in the sunlight again. We are standing on top of the arcades. The water channel is carried on a bridge, but not a solid wall. A wall would block the farmers' paths. A wall would stop the rain. So they built arches. Look at the Aqua Claudia. It strides across the Roman Campagna like a line of stone giants holding hands. Huge blocks of travertine and tufa. The arches rise 100 feet into the air. Look at the rhythm of the architecture. Pillar, arch, pillar, arch. It stretches to the horizon, a dotted line of stone. You are walking on top of the aqueduct, on the flat roof of the water channel. You are high above the world. You can see the sheep grazing in the fields below. You can see the olive trees, but you are separated from them. You are on the highway of water. You feel the vibration of the rushing stream beneath your feet. Thousands of gallons per second, moving, always moving. The wind blows up here. It is fresh and clean. You look at the construction of the arch, the keystone, the wedge-shaped stone at the very top of the curve. It is the lock. Gravity pulls the keystone down, but because of its shape, it pushes sideways against the stones next to it. They push against the next ones. The downward force is turned into sideways force, which travels down the pillars into the earth. The harder gravity pulls, the tighter the arch holds. It is a structure that gets stronger with weight. The Romans did not use mortar in these arches. The stones are cut so perfectly that they sit flush. Dry stone. They have stood here for 2,000 years, holding the water up. You sit down on the edge of the masonry. You dangle your legs over the side. You watch the water flow past you in the channel. It is hypnotic. It is smooth. It does not splash. It slides. It is transparent. You can see the bottom of the channel, the clean stone floor. You think about the journey of a single drop. It started in a dark cave in the mountains. It traveled through miles of black tunnels. It crossed bridges in the sky. It is a pilgrim. The sun begins to set. The long shadow of the aqueduct stretches out across the grass, a comb of darkness raking the fields. We are approaching the city. The line of arches merges with the walls of Rome. The water enters the urban grid. It arrives at the Castellum Aquae, the water castle. This is the distribution center, a high tower tank. We go inside. The sound is louder here. The water pours from the aqueduct channel into the settling tank. roar. Splash. It swirls. It slows down. Any last sediment sinks to the bottom. Then it flows into the pipes. Fistulae. Lead pipes. Stamped with the name of the emperor and the plumber who made them. The pipes branch out, like the roots of a tree. Some pipes go to the emperor's palace on the Palatine. Some pipes go to the public fountains. Some pipes go to the bathhouses. Some pipes go to the private villas of the rich, who pay a tax for the privilege. We follow the pipes. We go down to street level, to a lacus, a street fountain. It is a rectangular stone basin. A spout in the shape of a lion's head protrudes from a wall. A steady stream of water falls from the lion's mouth. Splash, gurgle. It fills the basin. It overflows. The overflow runs into the street, washing the dust away, cooling the paving. Stones. It is the sound of Rome. In every neighborhood, on every corner, there is the sound of falling water. It creates a white noise background to the city. It masks the shouting. It masks the carts. It is a cooling presence. You sit on the edge of the fountain. It is night now. The city is quiet. You dip your hand into the basin. The water is still cold. It has traveled 50 miles, but it has kept the memory of the mountain snow. You splash it on your face. It wakes you up, but then it calms you down. You think about the reliability of this system. The aqueduct does not sleep. While the emperor sleeps, the water flows. While the soldier sleeps, the water flows. While the baker sleeps, the water flows. It is a continuous gift from the mountains. It requires no energy to run, just the tilt of the earth. You feel a sense of abundance. In the ancient world, water was life. In the desert, you fought for it. In the village, you carried it in buckets from a muddy well. But here, in Rome, water is everywhere. It is free. It is clean. It is a miracle of civilization. You walk away from the fountain. You walk through the dark streets. You can hear other fountains in the distance, a chorus of water. Some are loud splashes. Some are gentle trickles. We walk toward the greatest consumer of water, the Baths of Caracalla. We will visit them properly in the next chapter, but for now, we just look at the outside. Massive brick walls rising into the night, steam rising from the roof vents. The aqueduct feeds this giant. It fills the massive pools. You realize that the entire city is a machine for living, and the water is the oil. You find a quiet spot in a garden near the aqueduct terminus. There is a stone bench under a cypress tree. You lie down. You can hear the water rushing through the pipes beneath the street. A low, vibrating hum. It is the pulse of the city. It connects everything. The mountain to the fountain. The sky to the drain. You feel fluid. Your own blood is mostly water. It flows through your veins just as the aqua marcia flows through the stone. Gravity moves the water. Your heart moves the blood. It is the same rhythm. Cycle, flow, return. You close your eyes. You visualize the aqueduct stretching back into the darkness. The arches marching across the moonlight fields. The tunnel boring through the hill. The spring bubbling in the cave. It is a silver thread connecting you to the wild. The water brings the peace of the mountains into the center of the noisy city. It washes away the dust of the day. It cools the heat of the mind. You are floating in the channel. You are weightless. The current carries you gently, down the gentle slope, 1 foot every 1,000 feet. A slow, easy slide toward the sea. There is no effort. You do not have to swim. You just have to let go. The water holds you. The stone holds the water. The earth holds the stone. You are safe. The flow is eternal. Rest in the current. Rest in the sound of the splash. Sleep. Chapter 4. The Via Appia, the Queen of Roads. The water has flowed into the city. The aqueduct has delivered its cold mountain cargo to the fountains of the Forum. The thirst of Rome is quenched. But a city is not just a destination. It is a point of departure. To be an empire, you must reach out. You must extend your grasp across the hills, across the marshes, and across the world. We are leaving the city center now. We are walking south, past the Circus Maximus, toward the ancient Servian wall. We pass through the Porta Capena. The heavy stone archway casts a cool shadow over us for a moment, and then we step out into the sunlight of the Italian countryside. Stretching out before us is a line, a perfectly straight, gray line that cuts through the green landscape like a sword stroke. It is the Via Appia, the Appian Way. The Romans called it the Regina Viarum, the Queen of Roads. It is the year 312 BC. The censor Appius Claudius Caecus has ordered this road to be built. He does not want a dirt track that turns to mud in the winter. He does not want a wandering path that follows the whims of the goats. He wants a road that is permanent. He wants a road that ignores nature. If there is a hill, the road cuts through it. If there is a valley, the road bridges it. If there is a swamp, the road floats over it on a causeway. It is an act of will. We step onto the stones. You are wearing leather sandals. The soles are thick. You feel the impact of the stone through the leather. Clack. It is a solid sound, a sound of authority. Let us look at the surface of this road. It is paved with silex, basalt, volcanic lava rock, quarried from the ancient flows of the Alban Hills. The stones are not square bricks. They are polygons, many-sided shapes, irregular pentagons and hexagons, but they fit together perfectly. The masons have cut them so precisely that you cannot slide a knife blade between the joints. They are locked together. A jigsaw puzzle of geology. The surface is smooth, but not slippery. It has been worn by the wheels of carts and the hobnailed boots of legions, but it has not cracked. It feels indestructible, but the paving stones are just the skin. To understand why this road has lasted for 2,000 years, we must look underneath. We must understand the anatomy of the road. The Roman road is not just a surface. It is a wall buried in the ground. It is 5 feet deep. Imagine the digging. The legions digging the trench, the fossa. They dug down to the bedrock or the solid clay. They rammed the earth flat with heavy wooden tampers. Then they laid the statumen, the foundation, stones the size of a man's hand, placed by hand, cemented with lime. Then the rudus, a layer of concrete mixed with broken pottery and large stones, rammed down tight. Then the nucleus, fine gravel, sand, cement, rolled flat. And finally, the summa crusta, the top skin, the basalt blocks we are standing on now. It is a layer cake of stability. The center of the road is slightly higher than the edges. It is cambered. When it rains, the water runs off instantly into the drainage ditches on either side. The road stays dry. The road stays usable. We begin to walk. The rhythm of walking on the Via Appia is different from walking on earth. The ground pushes back. It gives you energy. Clack, clack, clack. We are walking south, toward Capua, toward the sun. The road is lined with trees, umbrella pines, Pinus pinea. They are iconic shapes, tall, straight trunks that rise 50 feet before exploding into a canopy of green needles. They look like open parasols. They cast pools of shade on the white stones. You walk through the light, then the shadow, then the light. Warm, cool, warm, cool. The smell of the pines is intense. The sun heats the resin in the bark. It is a sharp, clean, turpentine smell. It mixes with the scent of the dry grass in the fields and the wild fennel growing in the ditches. It is the perfume of the Mediterranean summer. As we walk, we notice that we are not alone. But we are not surrounded by the living. We are surrounded by the memory of the dead. By Roman law, no one could be buried inside the city walls. So the roads leading out of Rome became the cemeteries. The Via Appia is a street of tombs, but they are not spooky. They are grand. They are monuments to lives well lived. We pass the tomb of Caecilia Metella. It is a massive drum of travertine stone sitting on a square base. It looks like a fortress. It has stood here for 2,000 years. The inscription is simple. To Caecilia Metella, daughter of Quintus Creticus, wife of Crassus. It is a statement of existence. I was here. The Romans believed that as long as someone read your name, you were not truly dead. So they built their tombs by the busiest road. They wanted the travelers to see them. They wanted to be part of the conversation. You read the names as you walk. Marcus, Julia, Lucius. You whisper them. You give them life. It feels peaceful. It is a city of the sleeping, watching over the road of the waking. There are statues on the tombs, busts of men in togas, women with elaborate hairstyles carved in stone. They look calm. They look dignified. They are resting. You realize that this road connects the past to the future. The ancestors are lining the path, guiding you forward. The road stretches on, mile after mile. It does not bend. The Romans hated curves. A curve slows you down. A curve hides the horizon. A straight line is honest. It is efficient. You can see the road tapering to a single point in the distance. The vanishing point. It draws you in. It pulls you forward. You pass a milestone, millenarium. It is a round column of stone, waist high. It is carved with a number. X, 10 miles from Rome. These stones are the ticking clock of the empire. They tell you exactly where you are. You are never lost on a Roman road. You sit down on the milestone to rest. The stone is warm. You wipe the sweat from your forehead. You take a drink from your flask. The water is cool. You look at the landscape, the Roman Campagna, rolling hills, green fields, flocks of sheep grazing in the distance, looking like white clouds that have fallen to earth. A shepherd is watching them. He leans on his staff. He watches you. He does not move. The sheep do not move. Time seems to slow down here. The frantic energy of the city is gone. There is only the long view. You listen to the sounds of the road. It is quiet now. It is the middle of the day, the time of the siesta. The traffic has stopped. But you can hear the ghost of the traffic. For centuries, this road was a river of humanity. Legions marching in step. The rhythmic crunch of thousands of hobnailed boots. Left, left, left. The jingle of armor. The creak of leather. Ox carts carrying grain to the city. The heavy wooden wheels grinding against the stone. The drivers shouting to the oxen. Chariots carrying messengers. The rapid-fire hoofbeats of galloping horses. Emperors traveling in litters, carried by slaves, hidden behind silk curtains. The road has seen it all. It has carried the weight of the entire world. But now, it is empty. It is just a ribbon of stone under the blue sky. The heat rises from the basalt. It creates a shimmer. The road looks like it is turning into liquid in the distance. You stand up. You continue to walk. The rhythm takes over. Step, clack, step, clack. Your mind empties out. You stop thinking about the destination. You stop thinking about the distance. You just focus on the contact. The feeling of your foot meeting the stone. The stone pushing back. Solid, reliable, unshakable. This road will still be here in 1,000 years. The grass will grow over the villas. The aqueducts might fall. but the road will remain. It is the skeleton of the civilization. You feel a sense of security in walking on something so permanent. You are not walking on mud. You are not walking on sand. You are walking on intention. You pass a grove of cypress trees. They are dark green, almost black. They are tall and thin, pointing straight up like fingers. The wind blows through them. Whoosh. Hush. It is a dry sound, a whispering sound. The shadows of the trees lay across the road, like the rungs of a ladder. You step over them, one by one. The sun begins to lower. The light turns golden. The white tombs turn pink. The heat of the day begins to fade. The stone retains the warmth, radiating it up at you. It feels like walking on a heated floor. You see a mansio ahead, a Roman roadside station, a hotel. It is a brick building with a red tile roof. There is a courtyard for the horses. There is a well. This is where you will stop, but you do not need to enter yet. You pause at the gate. You look back the way you came. The straight line of the road stretches back toward the city, a grey arrow pointing to the heart of the world. You look forward. The road stretches south, toward the sea, toward the future. You are standing in the middle. You are centered. You feel the solidity of the empire under your feet. You realize that you do not need to build the path. The path is already built. Someone else cleared the forest. Someone else drained the swamp. Someone else laid the stone. Your only job is to walk. And now, your job is to rest. You sit down on a bench outside the mansio. You unlace your sandals. You take them off. You place your bare feet on the warm stone pavement. You feel the connection, skin to stone, stone to earth. The vibration of the road stops. The marching stops. You are stationary. You lean back against the warm brick wall. You close your eyes. You can still see the straight line of the road in your mind. A perfect perspective. It leads you down into the landscape, down into the quiet. The pines stand guard. The tombs stand guard. You are safe on the Queen of Roads. There are no bandits here. There are no wolves here. Only the stone and the sun and the memory of the march. Let the road carry you. You don't have to take another step. The journey is paused. Rest in the geometry. Rest on the basalt. Sleep. Chapter 5. The Night Watch. The sun has set on the Appian Way. The straight, grey line of the road has vanished into the twilight. The umbrella pines have become black silhouettes against a purple sky. The gates of the city are closing. We are returning to the center. We are re-entering the walls. But we are not going to the white marble temples of the Forum, which glow in the moonlight. We are going deeper. We are going into the labyrinth. We are going to the Subura. This is the beating heart of Rome. It is the valley between the hills where the people live. It is a maze of narrow, twisting streets, tall brick apartment blocks, and shadows. In the ancient world, the night was a different country. When the sun went down, the city did not light up with electricity. It disappeared. It became a solid block of darkness. For centuries, this darkness was terrifying. It belonged to the thieves. It belonged to the wolves. But Augustus, the first emperor, decided that Rome should not be afraid of the dark. He decided to conquer the night, just as he conquered the world. He created the vigiles, the watchers. They are the first police force. They are the first fire department. 7 cohorts of men, patrolling the 14 districts of the city. Tonight, we are walking with them. We start at the Castra, the station. It is a brick fortress in the middle of the district. Inside, the torches are burning. The air smells of pitch and burning pine. The men of the watch are preparing for the shift. They are not aristocrats in togas. They are freedmen. ex-slaves who have earned their freedom and are now earning their citizenship through service. They are tough. They are disciplined. They are proud. Watch them dress. They put on tunics of heavy wool. They put on leather belts reinforced with brass plates. They lace up their boots. Caligae. These are the boots of the legion. Thick leather soles studded with iron hobnails. When they walk on the stone pavement, they make a distinct sound. Crunch, click, crunch, click. It is the sound of authority. They pick up their tools. They do not carry swords. They carry axes for cutting through burning doors. They carry buckets made of rope and tar, woven so tight they hold water. They carry heavy blankets soaked in vinegar to smother flames. But the most important tool is the light. The sebasiaria, the lantern. It is a cage of bronze. Inside, a candle made of tallow, animal fat, burns. Panels of translucent horn protect the flame from the wind. The lantern casts a warm, yellow circle of light. It pushes the darkness back about 5 feet. We step out of the station. We step into the night. The transition is stark. One moment, you are in the light of the guardhouse. The next, you are in a canyon of shadows. The streets of the Subura are narrow. Some are only 10 feet wide. Rising up on either side are the insulae, the islands. These are the apartment buildings of Rome. They are massive, 5, 6, sometimes 7 stories high. They block out the sky. You can only see a thin ribbon of stars directly overhead. The buildings are made of brick and wood. They lean slightly over the street. Balconies jut out, almost touching the balconies on the other side. It feels like walking through a deep gorge. You walk in the center of the street. You stay away from the walls. The rhythm of the patrol is slow. Step, pause, listen. Step, pause, listen. You are listening for the enemy. The enemy is not an army. The enemy is fire. Rome is a tinderbox. Oil lamps, wooden beams, open braziers. One spark can destroy a district. So you smell the air. You breathe in deep through your nose. It smells of the city at rest. It smells of garlic and stale wine from the taverns that are closing. It smells of baking bread from the ovens that are just waking up. It smells of the river dampness. It smells of wood smoke. But is it the smoke of a hearth or the smoke of a disaster? You stop. You sniff. It is just a hearth, a cooking fire, safe. You continue walking. The lantern swings in your hand. The light plays across the brick walls. It illuminates graffiti scratched into the plaster. It illuminates a shrine to the Lares, the household gods, painted on a corner. The eyes of the painted snakes seem to watch you pass. The city is quiet, but it is not silent. It creates a low, sleeping hum. You hear a baby crying on the 3rd floor of a tenement. The sound drifts down through the open shutter. You hear a dog barking miles away on the Aventine Hill. You hear the rumble of a cart. During the day, carts are banned from the streets of Rome. It is too crowded. So the supply wagons move at night. You step into a doorway to let a cart pass. It is loaded with marble blocks from the quarry we visited. Massive white stones, glowing in the lantern light. The oxen have their heads down. The driver walks beside them, whispering to them. The wooden wheels grind against the cobblestones. Rumble, grind. It passes. The silence returns. You feel a sense of ownership. During the day, the city belongs to the mob. It belongs to the politicians and the merchants. But at night, the city belongs to the watch. You know every corner. You know every alley. You know which flagstone is loose. You are the custodian of the sleep. You walk past a fountain, a lacus. The water splashes into the stone basin. It glitters in your lantern light. You stop. You dip your ladle into the water. You drink. The water is cold. It is the same water that flowed through the aqueduct, through the mountains, through the dark tunnels. It has arrived here to refresh you. You wipe your mouth. You adjust your belt. You look up at the insulae. Thousands of people are sleeping in those rooms. Families, soldiers, slaves, shopkeepers. They are lying on their straw mattresses. They are wrapped in their cloaks. They are vulnerable. But they can sleep because they know you are walking. They hear the crunch of your hobnails on the street. Click, clack. Click, clack. It is a lullaby. It tells them, the vigiles are here. The fire is not here. You turn a corner. You enter a square. Here, the sky opens up. You can see the moon. It is a half moon, casting a pale blue light on the rooftops. You see the silhouette of the Pantheon in the distance. The dome rises like a black hill. You think about the structure of the empire. It is held together by laws, yes. But it is also held together by this routine, by the willingness of men to walk in the dark. Your legs feel heavy. The patrol is long, 4 hours of walking on hard stone. But it is a good heaviness. It is the feeling of endurance. The air gets colder as the night deepens. The dead of night. 3 qm. The mist rises from the Tiber. It creeps into the streets. It swirls around your ankles. The lantern light catches the mist. It creates a halo. You feel like you are walking through a cloud. You pass a bakery, the Pistrinum. The door is open. The light of the oven spills out into the street. The bakers are working. They are the other guardians of the night. They are making the bread for the morning. You smell the yeast. It is a warm, living smell. The baker nods to you. You nod back. A silent exchange between the people of the night. You continue. The street begins to climb. You are walking up the slope of the Viminal Hill. You can look down over the Subura now. You see the sea of rooftops, tiles of terracotta, overlapping like fish scales. There are no streetlights. The city is a pool of ink. But here and there, you see a dot of light. Another patrol. Another lantern moving through the maze. It looks like a firefly. You are part of a network. A web of light sewn into the fabric of the dark. You lean against a wall to rest. The brick is rough against your shoulder. It still holds a faint warmth from the yesterday's sun. You close your eyes for a moment. You listen to the city breathing. It is a slow, rhythmic respiration. Inhale, exhale. The wind moves through the narrow canyons of the streets. Whoosh. It sounds like the ocean. You realize that the city is a living thing. And right now, it is dormant. It is recharging. You are the immune system. You are watching for the fever of fire. But tonight, the city is healthy. The stones are cool. The wood is damp. There is no danger. You open your eyes. The sky in the east is changing color. It is no longer black. It is turning a deep iron gray. Then a faint purple. Aurora. The dawn. The shift is ending. You turn back toward the station. Your boots feel lighter now. The duty is almost done. You walk back through the gates of the castra. The other men are returning. They are blowing out their lanterns. Puff, puff, puff. The smell of the extinguished candles fills the room. It is the scent of the end of the shift. You take off your helmet. You hang it on a peg. You unbuckle your belt. The heavy leather falls away. You take off your boots. Your feet are sore, but they are free. You walk to the barracks. Rows of bunks, straw mattresses, wool blankets. It is simple. It is austere. But to a tired man, it is a palace. You lie down. You pull the rough blanket up to your chin. You listen to the sounds of the station settling down. The murmur of voices. The clinking of armor being put away. Outside, the sun is rising. The city is waking up. The noise is returning. The carts, the shouts, the business of Rome. But your day is over. You have earned your rest. You walked the darkness so they could have the light. Now, you hand the city back to the sun. You close your eyes. You see the after image of the lantern. A warm yellow circle. It expands. It covers you. You are back in the bubble of light. You feel the stone pavement beneath you in your memory. Solid, eternal. The roads are safe. The walls are standing. The water is flowing. The empire is holding. You drift, drifting down into the catacombs of sleep. Deep, cool, quiet. The watch is ended. Rest. Sleep. Chapter 6. The Thermae, the Baths. The night watch is over. The sun has risen over the Esquiline hill, burning off the mist from the Tiber. The city of Rome is awake. It is a machine of noise and dust. Carts rumble over the basalt stones. Shopkeepers shout their wares. The heat of the Italian afternoon begins to build, baking the streets, turning the air thick and heavy. Your skin feels gritty. The dust of the city has settled on your arms. The sweat of the day clings to your tunic. You feel heavy. You feel the weight of the gravity of Rome. But there is an escape. In the center of the city, rising like a man-made mountain of red brick and white marble, stands the sanctuary, the Thermae, the Baths. Specifically, we are going to the Baths of Caracalla, the Thermae Antoninianae. It is the largest building you have ever seen. It covers 25 acres. It is not just a building. It is a city dedicated to water, a cathedral dedicated to the body. We walk through the outer precinct. We pass through gardens filled with cypress trees and statues. The noise of the street begins to fade, replaced by the sound of splashing fountains and the murmur of relaxed voices. We approach the main building. The entrance arch is 50 feet high. You step inside. The transition is physical. The blinding glare of the sun is replaced by a cool, dim, filtered light. The heat of the street is replaced by the controlled temperature of the interior. You are entering the apoditerium, the changing room. It is a long hall lined with stone benches. On the walls, there are rows of niches, cubby holes, where you place your clothes. You take off your sandals. The leather straps fall away. Your feet touch the floor. The floor is a mosaic. Tiny tiles of black and white stone, arranged in geometric patterns. Dolphins, tridents, waves. You take off your tunic. You fold it. You place it in the niche. You are naked. But in the Roman baths, nakedness is a uniform. It strips away your rank. Outside, you might be a senator or a soldier or a merchant. Your clothes tell the world who you are. But inside the baths, you are just a human. You are just flesh and bone. The hierarchy of Rome dissolves in the steam. You pick up your kit. A small flask of oil. A strigil, a curved metal scraper. A towel. You begin the ritual. The Roman bath is not just jumping into water. It is a progression, a journey through temperature. We start in the palestra, the exercise yard. It is an open-air courtyard surrounded by a colonnade. The floor is covered in sand. The sun warms your skin. You stretch your limbs. You feel the tension of the city leaving your muscles. You take the oil flask. It is made of glass, filled with golden olive oil, perhaps scented with lavender or rose. You pour the oil into your palm. It is warm and viscous. You rub it onto your skin. Rub. Smooth. You coat your arms, your legs, your chest. The oil glistens. It acts as a soap. It captures the dust and the sweat. You stand there for a moment, gleaming in the sun. You are preparing the canvas of your body. Now, we move inside. We enter the tepidarium, the warm room. This is the airlock, the transition zone. The room is vast. The ceiling is a vaulted arch, decorated with stucco reliefs of sea monsters and gods. The air here is pleasant. It is body temperature. You feel the heat radiating from the floor. This is the genius of Roman engineering, the hypocaust. Beneath the floor you are standing on, there is a hollow space, a basement. In that basement, slaves are feeding furnaces with wood and charcoal. The hot air and smoke from the fires circulate under the floor. They flow up through hollow clay pipes in the walls, the tubuli. The entire room is a radiator. The floor is warm to the touch. The walls are warm. The heat wraps around you like a dry towel. You sit on a marble bench. You let your body acclimatize. Your pores begin to open. Your breathing slows down. You look at the light streaming in through the high windows. The glass is thick and milky. It diffuses the sun into a soft golden haze. It is quiet here. People speak in low voices. The acoustics of the stone vaults turn every sound into a long, soft echo. Now, you are ready for the heat. You push open a heavy bronze door. A cloud of steam escapes. You step into the caldarium, the hot room. The temperature spikes. It is tropical. It is humid. This room is a rotunda, a massive circular room topped with a dome. In the center of the dome is an oculus, a round opening to the sky. A shaft of pure sunlight cuts through the steam, illuminating the center of the room. The air is thick with moisture. It condenses on your skin. It mixes with the oil. You begin to sweat. This is the cleansing. The heat is drawing the toxins out of your body. It is melting the stress. There are basins of hot water around the edges of the room. Labra. You walk to one. It is carved from a single block of porphyry, a rare purple stone from Egypt. You dip a sponge into the hot water. You squeeze it over your shoulders. The heat penetrates deep into your muscles. Now, the cleaning. You take your strigil. It is a curved tool made of bronze or iron. It looks like a sickle with a dull edge. You press it against your oily skin. You scrape. Scritch. Slide. Scritch. Slide. You scrape the oil, the sweat, and the dust off your body. It comes off in a grey slurry. You scrape your arms, your back, your legs. It is a satisfying sensation. You are removing the old layers. You are revealing the new skin underneath. You are shedding the day. You rinse with warm water. You are clean, but you are hot. Your face is flushed. Your heart is beating a little faster from the heat. It is time for the shock, the reset. You leave the caldarium. You walk back through the tepidarium, letting your body cool slightly. And then you enter the cathedral of water, the frigidarium, the cold room. This is the centerpiece of the baths. It is immense. The ceiling soars 100 feet above you. Massive columns of grey granite hold up the cross vaults. The walls are covered in marble, green, red, white, and in the center, the pools. Great rectangular basins of cold water. You walk to the edge of the pool. The water is blue, reflecting the mosaic ceiling. It is still. You take a breath. You step down the marble stairs. 1 step. The cold water hits your ankles. 2 steps. Your knees. 3 steps. Your waist. You plunge. Splash. You submerge completely. The cold is a physical blow. It snaps your eyes open. It makes you gasp. Ha! But then, the feeling changes. It is electric. It tightens your skin. It closes your pores. It invigorates you. You float on your back. You look up at the ceiling. The vaults seem miles away. You feel weightless. The water supports you completely. The oil on your skin creates a barrier, so you don't feel soggy. You feel sleek. You paddle gently. The sound of the water echoes in the vast hall. Splosh. Drip. Echo. It sounds like you are in a sea cave. You drift to the edge of the pool. You climb out. You wrap yourself in a heavy linen towel, a lintium. You rub your skin vigorously. The friction creates warmth. Your skin turns pink. You feel alive. You feel reborn. You are no longer the dusty, tired person who walked in from the street. You are a new person. But the journey is not over. There is one more phase. The phase of the mind. You put on a light robe. You put on your sandals. You walk out of the frigidarium into the gardens. The xystus. It is late afternoon now. The sun is setting behind the Janiculum hill. The light is long and golden. The garden is filled with statues, heroes, gods, emperors. White marble figures standing among the green laurel bushes. You walk along the gravel path. Crunch, crunch. You are heading for the library. The Baths of Caracalla have two libraries, one for Greek books, one for Latin books. You enter the Latin library. It is a semicircular room. One side is open to the garden. The walls are lined with niches. Inside the niches are the scrolls. Papyrus scrolls, parchment codices. They are stored in wooden buckets, capsae, to protect them from the humidity. The room smells of cedar wood and citrus oil. It is quiet here. The splashing of the baths is distant. Here, there is only the rustle of paper and the scratching of pens. You sit down in a chair made of wicker. You do not need to read. You just need to sit. You look out at the garden. You watch the cypress trees swaying gently in the evening breeze. You feel a profound sense of otium. This is the Roman word for leisure. But it does not mean laziness. It means productive rest. It means time for the soul. The Romans believed that you worked hard so that you could have otium. You have earned this. You feel the cleanliness of your skin. You feel the relaxation of your muscles. You feel the stillness of your mind. The city of Rome is still out there. The empire is still running. The legions are marching. The politicians are arguing. But you are in the eye of the hurricane. You are in the sanctuary of stone and water. The sun dips below the horizon. The sky turns violet. The attendants begin to light the oil lamps in the colonnade, small points of fire appearing in the twilight. You close your eyes. You replay the sensation of the bath, the heat of the steam, the scrape of the bronze, the shock of the cold, the roughness of the towel. It washes over you like a wave. You feel heavy. The stone bench supports you. The marble floor supports the bench. The earth supports the floor. It is a chain of stability. You are a stone in the wall of Rome. You are part of the structure. You let your breathing slow down, in and out. The air is cool and fresh. You are clean. You are safe. You are resting in the heart of the eternal city. The water flows. The stone holds. Sleep. Chapter 7. The country, villa. The marble columns of the forum are behind us. The steam of the bathhouse has faded into the evening air. The noise of the subura, the shouting merchants, the rumbling carts, the barking dogs, has dissolved into the distance. We are leaving the city. We are traveling north, up the Via Cassia, into the rolling hills of Etruria, into the heart of Tuscany. We are seeking otium, the Roman concept of productive rest, the peace of the countryside. The road changes. It is no longer the hard, flat basalt of the Appian Way. It is a country road, packed earth and gravel. It is softer underfoot. It winds through the hills, following the contours of the land, rather than cutting through them. The air changes. It sheds the smell of smoke and humanity. It takes on the scent of the earth. It smells of cypress trees. It smells of dried hay. It smells of soil that has been turned by the plough. We arrive at the gate. Before us stands the Villa Rustica. This is not a palace. It is a working farm. but it is built with the grace and solidity of Rome. The walls are covered in white plaster, glowing pale in the twilight. The roof is tiled with terracotta, curved red tiles that overlap like the scales of a sleeping dragon. You walk through the gate. You enter the vestibulum, the entrance hall. On the floor, a mosaic greets you, a black dog made of stone tiles. Underneath, the words, Cav Canem. Beware of the dog, but the dog is sleeping. The house is safe. You step into the heart of the home, the atrium. This is the most beautiful room in the history of architecture. It is a room without a ceiling in the center. Look up. The roof slopes inward from all four sides. In the middle, there's a square opening to the sky. The compluvium. It frames the heavens. Directly below it, cut into the floor, is a rectangular pool. The impluvium. It is lined with blue marble. It is filled with water. The design is simple. When it rains, the water runs down the roof, falls through the square opening, and lands in the pool. And tonight, it is raining. It is a gentle Tuscan rain. Soft, steady, vertical. You sit on a wooden chair at the edge of the atrium. You watch the water. You are inside, but you are watching the outside. You see the raindrops falling through the roof opening. They catch the light of the oil lamps. They look like falling diamonds. Plip, plip, plip. They hit the surface of the pool. Circles of ripples expand outward, touching the marble edge. The sound is hypnotic. It is the sound of nature entering the house, but in a controlled way. A domesticated rain. The air in the atrium is cool and fresh. It circulates through the house, bringing the smell of the wet garden indoors. You feel a profound sense of shelter. The roof protects you. The walls protect you. But the opening lets you breathe. You stand up. You decide to explore the estate. The villa is a machine for production. It is a factory of food. We walk through a corridor to the torcularium, the pressing room. This is where the wealth of the countryside is made. The room is dark. It smells of crushed fruit and heavy stones. On one side, the olives. The harvest has just finished. The olives are piled in baskets, green and black, small, bitter jewels. You see the trapetum, the mill. It consists of two massive hemispherical stones suspended in a stone bowl. When the donkey turns the beam, the stones rotate. But they do not touch the bottom of the bowl. They are set exactly to the gap that will crush the flesh of the olive, but not the pit. If you crush the pit, the oil becomes bitter. The Romans knew this. They engineered the perfect gap. You imagine the sound, the slow, grinding rumble of stone on stone. Grind, mush, grind. The paste is spread on fiber mats. The mats are stacked up. Then the press, a massive wooden beam 20 feet long, a screw mechanism carved from oak. The beam is lowered. It presses the mats. The oil weeps out. Golden green liquid, liquid gold. It flows into clay jars. It smells grassy, peppery, and rich. This oil will light the lamps of the empire. It will clean the bodies of the athletes. It will dress the salads of the senators. On the other side of the room, the grapes, the vintage. The grapes have been trodden by feet in the stone vats. The juice, the must, has flowed into the cellar. We walk down the stairs into the cella vinaria, the wine cellar. It is cool underground. The temperature is constant. It smells of yeast and fermentation. A sweet, dizzying smell. The wine is not stored in wooden barrels. It is stored in dolia. These are gigantic clay jars. They are taller than a man. They are buried halfway into the dirt floor to keep them cool. They hold thousands of gallons. You walk among the dolia. They look like round ceramic bellies emerging from the earth. You touch the rim of one. The clay is cold and damp. Inside, the chemistry is working. The sugar is turning into alcohol. The juice is becoming wine. The lids are sealed with pitch and resin. You feel a sense of abundance. The harvest is gathered. The work of the sun is finished. The energy of the summer is trapped in these jars, waiting for the winter. There is no hunger here. The larder is full. You leave the cellar. You walk back up to the main level. You walk out into the peristyle. This is the garden within the house, a colonnade of marble pillars surrounding a square of green. In the center, herbs are growing. Rosemary, thyme, sage. The rain is watering them. The smell of the wet herbs releases into the night. It is medicinal and clean. You walk along the covered portico. You pass the lararium. This is a small shrine set into the wall. It looks like a miniature temple. Inside are small bronze statues. The lares, the guardian spirits of the family. Young men dancing, holding drinking horns. The penates, the guardians of the pantry. A small oil lamp burns in front of them. You stop. You offer a pinch of incense from a small box. You drop it onto the flame. Puff. A wisp of fragrant smoke rises. You are paying your rent to the spiritual protectors of the house. You are asking for a quiet night. You feel watched over, not by the distant, terrifying gods of the sky, but by the small, friendly gods of the hearth. It is time for the cena, the evening meal. You enter the triclinium, the dining room. It is small and intimate. The walls are painted with frescoes of gardens, birds, fountains, trees, so that even inside, you feel like you are outside. There are 3 couches arranged in a U-shape. The Romans did not sit to eat, they reclined. You lie down on the couch. You lean on your left elbow. This posture relaxes the body. It opens the stomach. A slave brings a small table. The meal is simple, rustic, gustazio. A loaf of round bread, marked with 8 wedges like the one we saw in the bakery. A plate of fresh figs, purple and soft. A wedge of pecorino cheese, sheep's cheese, hard and salty. A bowl of the fresh olive oil. You tear a piece of bread. You dip it in the oil. You eat. It tastes of the land. The wheat from the field outside the window. The oil from the press in the next room. It is honest food. You drink a cup of wine mixed with water. It warms you. You look out the open door of the dining room into the peristyle garden. The rain is still falling. You can hear it hitting the leaves of the laurel bushes. Pat, pat, pat. The air is getting colder, but the floor is warm. The villa has a hypocaust, just like the baths. Warm air from the kitchen furnace is circulating under the mosaic tiles. The heat travels up through the stone couch, through the cushions, into your body. You are sandwiched between the cool air of the rain and the warm heat of the stone. It is the perfect temperature for sleep. The meal is finished. The table is cleared. The house begins to shut down. The slaves are barring the doors. You hear the heavy wooden beams sliding into place. Thump. Thud. The shutters are closed over the windows. The view of the rain is blocked, but the sound remains. A muffled drumming. You walk to your bedroom, the cubiculum. It is a tiny room. The Romans did not like large bedrooms. They wanted to feel enclosed. The walls are painted a deep, dark red, Pompeian red, a color of warmth and darkness. The bed is simple. A wooden frame with rope webbing, a mattress stuffed with wool. You sit on the bed. You take off your sandals. You set them on the mosaic floor. You take off your tunic. You lie down. The wool mattress is firm. It smells of lavender. You pull the coverlet over you. It is a heavy tapestry, woven with geometric patterns. The room is pitch black. There are no streetlights in the country. There is no moon tonight. Just the absolute velvet darkness of the ancient world. You listen to the house. It creates a symphony of safety. The rain on the roof tiles, tapping, the water dripping into the impluvium in the atrium. Plip, plip, the settling of the heavy stone walls, the crackle of the charcoal in the brazier down the hall. You think about the olive oil in the jars, the wine in the cellar, the wheat in the granary. The estate is self-sufficient. It needs nothing from the outside world. You are an island. You think about the road that brought you here, the straight grey line of the Via Appia. It is far away now. You don't have to travel. You have arrived. You feel the gravity of the countryside. It is heavier than the city. It pulls you down closer to the earth. Your breathing slows. In, out. You imagine the roots of the olive trees outside, gripping the soil, holding on, drinking the rain. You are rooted too. You are safe in the villa. The dog at the door is sleeping. The gods in the shrine are watching. The oil lamp has burned out. The wick is cold. There is nothing left to do. Rest in the abundance. Rest in the quiet of the fields. Sleep. Chapter 7. The country villa. The marble columns of the forum are behind us. The steam of the bathhouse has faded into the evening air. The noise of the subura, the shouting merchants, the rumbling carts, the barking dogs, has dissolved into the distance. We are leaving the city. We are traveling north, up the Via Cassia, into the rolling hills of Etruria, into the heart of Tuscany. We are seeking otium, the Roman concept of productive rest, the peace of the countryside. The road changes. It is no longer the hard, flat basalt of the Appian Way. It is a country road, packed earth and gravel. It is softer underfoot. It winds through the hills, following the contours of the land, rather than cutting through them. The air changes. It sheds the smell of smoke and humanity. It takes on the scent of the earth. It smells of cypress trees. It smells of dried hay. It smells of soil that has been turned by the plow. We arrive at the gate. Before us stands the Villa Rustica. This is not a palace. It is a working farm. But it is built with the grace and solidity of Rome. The walls are covered in white plaster, glowing pale in the twilight. The roof is tiled with terracotta, curved red tiles that overlap like the scales of a sleeping dragon. You walk through the gate. You enter the vestibulum, the entrance hall. On the floor, a mosaic greets you, a black dog made of stone tiles. Underneath, the words, Cavcanem. Beware of the dog. But the dog is sleeping. The house is safe. You step into the heart of the home. The atrium. This is the most beautiful room in the history of architecture. It is a room without a ceiling in the center. Look up. The roof slopes inward from all four sides. In the middle, there is a square opening to the sky. The compluvium. It frames the heavens. Directly below it, cut into the floor, is a rectangular pool. The impluvium. It is lined with blue marble. It is filled with water. The design is simple. When it rains, the water runs down the roof, falls through the square opening, and lands in the pool. And tonight, it is raining. It is a gentle Tuscan rain. Soft, steady, vertical. You sit on a wooden chair at the edge of the atrium. You watch the water. You are inside, but you are watching the outside. You see the raindrops falling through the roof opening. They catch the light of the oil lamps. They look like falling diamonds. Plip, plip, plip. They hit the surface of the pool. Circles of ripples expand outward, touching the marble edge. The sound is hypnotic. It is the sound of nature entering the house, but in a controlled way. A domesticated rain. The air in the atrium is cool and fresh. It circulates through the house, bringing the smell of the wet garden indoors. You feel a profound sense of shelter. The roof protects you. The walls protect you. But the opening lets you breathe. You stand up. You decide to explore the estate. The villa is a machine for production. It is a factory of food. We walk through a corridor to the torcularium, the pressing room. This is where the wealth of the countryside is made. The room is dark. It smells of crushed fruit and heavy stones. On one side, the olives. The harvest has just finished. The olives are piled in baskets, green and black, small, bitter jewels. You see the trapetum, the mill. It consists of two massive hemispherical stones suspended in a stone bowl. When the donkey turns the beam, the stones rotate. But they do not touch the bottom of the bowl. They are set exactly to the gap that will crush the flesh of the olive, but not the pit. If you crush the pit, the oil becomes bitter. The Romans knew this. They engineered the perfect gap. You imagine the sound, the slow, grinding rumble of stone on stone. Grind, mush, grind. The paste is spread on fiber mats. The mats are stacked up. Then the press. A massive wooden beam 20 feet long, a screw mechanism carved from oak. The beam is lowered. It presses the mats. The oil weeps out. Golden green liquid. Liquid gold. It flows into clay jars. It smells grassy, peppery, and rich. This oil will light the lamps of the empire. It will clean the bodies of the athletes. It will dress the salads of the senators. On the other side of the room, the grapes. The vintage. The grapes have been trodden by feet in the stone vats. The juice, the must, has flowed into the cellar. We walk down the stairs into the cella vinaria, the wine cellar. It is cool underground. The temperature is constant. It smells of yeast and fermentation. A sweet, dizzying smell. The wine is not stored in wooden barrels. It is stored in dolia. These are gigantic clay jars. They are taller than a man. They are buried halfway into the dirt floor to keep them cool. They hold thousands of gallons. You walk among the dolia. They look like round ceramic bellies emerging from the earth. You touch the rim of one. The clay is cold and damp. Inside, the chemistry is working. The sugar is turning into alcohol. The juice is becoming wine. The lids are sealed with pitch and resin. You feel a sense of abundance. The harvest is gathered. The work of the sun is finished. The energy of the summer is trapped in these jars, waiting for the winter. There is no hunger here. The larder is full. You leave the cellar. You walk back up to the main level. You walk out into the peristyle. This is the garden within the house. A colonnade of marble pillars surrounding a square of green. In the center, herbs are growing. Rosemary, thyme, sage. The rain is watering them. The smell of the wet herbs releases into the night. It is medicinal and clean. You walk along the covered portico. You pass the lararium. This is a small shrine set into the wall. It looks like a miniature temple. Inside are small bronze statues, the lairs, the guardian spirits of the family. Young men dancing, holding drinking horns, the penates, the guardians of the pantry. A small oil lamp burns in front of them. You stop. You offer a pinch of incense from a small box. You drop it onto the flame. Puff. A wisp of fragrant smoke rises. You are paying your rent to the spiritual protectors of the house. You are asking for a quiet night. You feel watched over, not by the distant, terrifying gods of the sky, but by the small, friendly gods of the hearth. It is time for the cena, the evening meal. You enter the triclinium, the dining room. It is small and intimate. The walls are painted with frescoes of gardens, birds, fountains, trees, so that even inside, you feel like you are outside. There are 3 couches arranged in a U-shape. The Romans did not sit to eat. They reclined. You lie down on the couch. You lean on your left elbow. This posture relaxes the body. It opens the stomach. A slave brings a small table. The meal is simple. rustic, gustatio. A loaf of round bread, marked with 8 wedges like the one we saw in the bakery. A plate of fresh figs, purple and soft. A wedge of pecorino cheese, sheep's cheese, hard and salty. A bowl of the fresh olive oil. You tear a piece of bread. You dip it in the oil. You eat. It tastes of the land. The wheat from the field outside the window. The oil from the press in the next room. It is honest food. You drink a cup of wine mixed with water. It warms you. You look out the open door of the dining room into the peristyle garden. The rain is still falling. You can hear it hitting the leaves of the laurel bushes. Pat, pat, pat. The air is getting colder, but the floor is warm. The villa has a hypocaust, just like the baths. Warm air from the kitchen furnace is circulating under the mosaic tiles. The heat travels up through the stone couch, through the cushions, into your body. You are sandwiched between the cool air of the rain and the warm heat of the stone. It is the perfect temperature for sleep. The meal is finished. The table is cleared. The house begins to shut down. The slaves are barring the doors. You hear the heavy wooden beams sliding into place. Thump. Thud. The shutters are closed over the windows. The view of the rain is blocked, but the sound remains. A muffled drumming. You walk to your bedroom, the cubiculum. It is a tiny room. The Romans did not like large bedrooms. They wanted to feel enclosed. The walls are painted a deep, dark red, Pompeian red, a color of warmth and darkness. The bed is simple. A wooden frame with rope webbing, a mattress stuffed with wool. You sit on the bed. You take off your sandals. You set them on the mosaic floor. You take off your tunic. You lie down. The wool mattress is firm. It smells of lavender. You pull the coverlet over you. It is a heavy tapestry, woven with geometric patterns. The room is pitch black. There are no street lights in the country. There is no moon tonight, just the absolute velvet darkness of the ancient world. You listen to the house. It creates a symphony of safety. The rain on the roof tiles, tapping, the water dripping into the impluvium in the atrium. Plip, plip. The settling of the heavy stone walls, the crackle of the charcoal in the brazier down the hall. You think about the olive oil in the jars, the wine in the cellar, the wheat in the granary. The estate is self-sufficient. It needs nothing from the outside world. You are an island. You think about the road that brought you here, the straight gray line of the Via Appia. It is far away now. You don't have to travel. You have arrived. You feel the gravity of the countryside. It is heavier than the city. It pulls you down closer to the earth. Your breathing slows. In, out. You imagine the roots of the olive trees outside, gripping the soil, holding on, drinking the rain. You are rooted too. You are safe in the villa. The dog at the door is sleeping. The gods in the shrine are watching. The oil lamp has burned out. The wick is cold. There is nothing left to do. Rest in the abundance. Rest in the quiet of the fields. Sleep. Chapter 8. The Library of Celsus. The rain has stopped falling on the roof of the country villa. The harvest has been gathered into the dark, cool cellars. The body has been fed, the skin has been oiled, and the muscles have been rested. But the Roman world is not just a world of the body. It is a world of the mind. We are leaving the rustic hills of Tuscany. We are traveling east across the Aegean Sea to the city of Ephesus. It is one of the jewels of the empire. We are standing in the center of the city, at the bottom of a marble street. The sun is high, casting sharp shadows against the white pavement. Rising before us is a facade of breathtaking beauty. It looks like a stage set for a play that never ends. 2 stories of Corinthian columns, statues of women representing wisdom, knowledge, intelligence, and virtue standing in niches. This is the Library of Celsus. It is a sanctuary built for 12,000 scrolls. We walk up the 9 wide marble steps. We pass through the heavy doors. The transition from the bright, noisy street to the interior is profound. You step into the cellar, the main reading room. It is a vast, high space. The floor is paved with colored marble, green from Euboea, yellow from Numidia. It is cool under your sandals. But the most important feature of this room is not the decoration. It is the engineering of silence and preservation. The architect knew that the enemy of books is moisture. Humidity rots the papyrus. Mold eats the words. So he built a machine to fight the damp. The library has double walls. There is the outer wall of the building, and then, separated by a gap of air, an inner wall. This gap allows the air to circulate. It insulates the room. It keeps the temperature stable, day and night, summer and winter. You are standing inside a thermos, a protected bubble of dry air. You take a deep breath. The smell is distinct. It is the perfume of knowledge. It smells of papyrus, a dry, grassy, reedy smell, like dried autumn leaves. It smells of parchment, a faint organic scent of cured leather. It smells of dust, not dirty dust, but the clean mineral dust of old things. But above all, it smells of cedar. The Romans used cedar oil to anoint the scrolls. It keeps the bookworms away. It keeps the rot away. The air is thick with this resinous, spicy wood scent. It clears your mind. It tells your brain that you're in a place of preservation. You look at the walls. They are lined with armaria. These are wooden cabinets set into niches in the brickwork. They are made of heavy oak, darkened by age. They have doors with bronze grills. Inside the cabinets, you see the ends of the scrolls, thousands of round wooden dowels. Each one has a small tag hanging from it, a syllabus, a leather tag with the title of the book written in red ink, the Aeneid, the histories, the nature of things. You are surrounded by the voices of the dead, but they are not ghosts. They are friends. Seneca is here. Marcus Aurelius is here. Plato is here. They are sleeping in their wooden boxes, waiting for you to wake them up. There is a profound sense of company in a library. You are never alone. You are surrounded by the best thoughts of the last 1,000 years. You walk to a table in the center of the room. It is a long slab of polished cypress wood. You sit down. The chair is simple, wood and leather. It forces you to sit upright, but it is comfortable. A librarian, a slave dressed in a simple gray tunic, approaches you. He moves silently. He has learned the library walk, rolling his feet so his sandals do not slap the stone. He hands you a scroll. You hold it in your hands. It is a volumen, a roll. It is lighter than a modern book. It feels fragile, but it is tough. You unroll it. You hold the wooden dowel in your left hand and the end of the scroll in your right. You pull, crinkle, snap. The papyrus uncurls. It makes a dry, crisp sound. The fibers of the plant catch the light. You can see the grid of the woven reeds. The text is written in columns, black ink, carbon and gum Arabic. The letters are sharp and precise. Roman capitals. Arma virumque. Cano. I sing of arms and the man. You begin to read. In the ancient world, reading was often a physical act. People read aloud, murmuring the words to themselves. But today, the library is silent. You read with your eyes. You feel the texture of the paper under your fingertips. It is slightly rough, like fine sandpaper. You focus on the letters. This is a form of meditation. Your eyes track the black lines, left to right, left to right. It is the same rhythm as the weaver's loom, the same rhythm as the plough. Your mind narrows. The worries of the empire fade away. The price of grain doesn't matter. The wars on the frontier don't matter. There is only the sentence. You scroll forward, unroll with the right hand, roll up with the left hand. It is a continuous flow, like water, like time. The sun moves across the sky outside. The beams of light coming through the high windows shift across the floor. They move from the green marble to the yellow marble. They act as a sundial. You watch the dust motes dancing in the light. They float, they suspend, they drift. You feel a heaviness in your eyelids. The intellectual effort is tiring. It drains the energy from your muscles. You stop reading. You let the scroll roll back up. Snap! You hand it back to the librarian. He bows. He takes the scroll. He places it back in its niche. He closes the bronze grill. Click. The book is safe. You lean back in your chair. You look up at the ceiling. It is coffered, sunken square panels, painted with gold stars on a blue background. It mimics the night sky. You are sitting under an artificial heaven. The acoustics of the room amplify the silence. If you drop a pin, it would sound like a bell. You hear the breathing of a scholar at the next table. In, out. You hear the rustle of a robe. You hear the distant cooing of a dove nesting in the eaves outside. It is a piece that has been manufactured. It is a fortress of quiet. The afternoon turns to evening. The light turns golden, then gray. The library is closing. The attendants begin to snuff the lamps. Puff, puff. The smell of the smoke mixes with the cedar. You stand up. You walk toward the exit. You step out onto the porch, between the great columns. The air outside is cooler now. The sun has set behind the mountains. You look back at the statues of the virtues. Wisdom, knowledge. They stand there, white and impassive. They do not sleep. They guard the books. You feel a sense of completion. You have fed the body at the villa. You have cleaned the skin at the baths. You have fed the mind at the library. You are whole. You walk down the marble steps. The city of Ephesus is winding down. The shops are shuttered. You walk toward your sleeping quarters. Your mind feels scrubbed clean. The words of the scroll have washed away your own petty thoughts. You are filled with the thoughts of giants. You reach your room. You lie down on the bed. You close your eyes. You can still see the rows of scrolls, thousands of them, sitting in their dark wooden boxes. They are sleeping too. The knowledge is resting. It isn't going anywhere. It will be there tomorrow, and the day after, and in 2,000 years. You do not need to hold it all in your head. The library holds it for you. You can let go. You feel the dry, papery texture of the sleep taking over. You feel the scent of the cedar wrapping you up. You are a scroll being rolled up for the night, tied with a leather strap, placed in the niche, safe, protected, still. Rest in the archives. Rest in the silence of the words. Sleep. Chapter 9. The ruins, the green over the gray. The library has closed. The scrolls have been rolled up and put away in their cedar boxes. The voices of the scholars have faded. We are moving forward in time. Not just a few hours, but 1,000 years. The wheel of history has turned. The emperors have gone. The legions have marched away and never returned. The bronze doors of the temples have been melted down. We are back in the Roman Forum, but it is not the noisy white marble plaza we walked through in Chapter 2. It has changed. It is the Middle Ages, or perhaps the Romantic era. The exact date doesn't matter. What matters is the silence. The city has exhaled. The Forum is no longer the center of the world. It has a new name, Campo Vaccino, the cow pasture. Nature has returned to the 7 hills. You are walking through the ruins at dawn. The air is cool and misty. It smells of wet grass, wildflowers, and damp earth. The ground has risen. Centuries of dust and flooding from the Tiber have raised the floor of the valley. The bottom steps of the temples are buried. You are walking on a soft carpet of green turf. It cushions your feet. It muffles your steps. Rising out of the grass are the bones of the city, the columns. 3 columns of the temple of Castor and Pollux stand alone against the sky. They are white, bleached by the sun of 1,000 summers. They no longer hold up a roof. They hold up nothing but the air. They look peaceful. They are no longer working. Their duty is done. Vines are growing up the fluted marble. Ivy, hedera, thick green ropes of ivy winding around the stone. The leaves are dark and glossy. They cling to the marble. It is a slow embrace. The green is hugging the grey. You walk toward the arch of Septimius Severus. It is half buried. The earth comes up to the knees of the carved soldiers. Moss grows in the inscriptions. Soft, velvet green moss filling the letters of the Latin names. Imp, Kaz. The names are being erased, very slowly, by the roots of plants. This is not sad, it is restful. It is the earth taking the stone back. You sit down on a fallen capital, the top of a column that has toppled over. It is a massive block of carved acanthus leaves. It makes a perfect seat. You run your hand over the stone. It is rough. It is pitted. The wind and the rain have softened the sharp edges. The geometry of the Romans has been rounded by the weather. It feels warm. It feels like an old bone. You listen to the sounds of the ruin. It is a bird sanctuary. Doves are nesting in the cracks of the brickwork. You hear their soft cooing. Coo, coo. A lizard skitters across a stone. Scritch. And in the distance, the sound of a sheep bell. Tinkle, tinkle. A shepherd is guiding his flock through the triumphal arches. The sheep are grazing on the grass that grows between the paving stones of the Via Sacra. The sheep do not care about the empire. They do not care about the Senate. They only care about the grass. There is a profound peace in this indifference. The ambition is gone. The striving is gone. The stress of maintaining the world is gone. The city is sleeping. You look at the Colosseum in the distance. It is a mountain of travertine. It is broken. One side has fallen. But it looks majestic. It looks like a hollow hill. Plants are growing in the stands. Exotic flowers, seeds brought from Africa by the animals centuries ago, have taken root in the amphitheater. It is a garden of stone. You feel a sense of relief. If Rome, the eternal city, the master of the world, can let go, then so can you. Rome stopped working. It stopped building. It stopped fighting. And the sun still rises. The birds still sing. You realize that you do not have to hold everything together. You can let the vines grow. You can let the grass cover the path. You can rest. The sun climbs higher. The mist burns off. The light turns golden. It is the light of a painting. Soft, melancholic, beautiful. You lie down in the grass. You are lying in the center of history. Beneath you are the layers of the road. Beneath that, the clay of the marsh. Beneath that, the volcanic tufa. You are supported by the deep time of the earth. You look up at the sky. It is the same blue sky that Romulus saw. It hasn't aged a day. A cloud drifts past the top of a broken column. You watch it, white against white. The column stands still. The cloud moves. You are the column. You are heavy. You are weathered. You are at rest. You close your eyes. You feel the warmth of the sun on your eyelids. You smell the wild fennel growing in the ruins. A sweet anise scent. You let go of the timeline. You are not in the past. You are not in the future. You are in the eternal now. The silence of the ruins wraps around you. It is a silence that has absorbed all the noise. The shouts of the legions, the speeches of the senators, the roar of the crowd. The stone has drunk it all and turned it into quiet. You breathe in the quiet. Your breath is slow. In, out, in, out. You are a ruin. Beautiful, broken, peaceful. You are returning to nature. The ivy is wrapping around your legs. The moss is covering your hands. You are safe. The wolf has gone back to the forest. The water flows in the aqueduct of the earth. The city sleeps, and you sleep with it. Rest in the grass. Rest in the stone. Sleep.